And then look. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Have to have that.
Hey, everybody, we'll call the meeting to order, please. We'll start with the moment of silence followed by the pledge, please. Thank you. Aye. Thank you. Is there any public comment on agenda items only? Seeing none, we'll move on to Monroe County Farmland Preservation. Christine, would you like to kick it off, please?
And during your business, you'll be signing an agreement of sale for Robert Field. He is a farmer in Hamilton Township. Bob will tell you the history of his farm. Anybody who asks, he will talk about it. We've been working on this project for a while. The deeds are quite old. Getting it properly surveyed was quite a challenge. But we're ready to put an easement on the roughly 22 acres of farmland. Do you want to say anything? Let's go to the sign. Everybody can with us.
Well, Christine.
Yeah.
Bob, do you normally travel with an entourage?
Yeah. I need all the help.
That's not my.
Buddy, could you hold this? Or
There we go. So this is our preserved farmland sign. This is the first, this is a painting of the first farm we preserved in the late 80s. It's the Miller Farm in Jackson Township. And we're proud that Bob will be the 129th farm preserved in Monroe County. Yes.
I would like to tell you a little history about the farm. Our Metzger ancestors came to this country in 1730. Mannheim, Germany. They came to Philadelphia. They were indentured servants. And my grandfather always said they had to work 10 years for their passage. And they got $1 and a new suit at the end of the 10th year. I had an ancestor, Caspar Metzger, served in the Revolutionary War. And they paid him with land in Cherry Valley. And he is on the 1780 Cherry Valley or Hamilton Township census. His son Nicholas moved to Snydersville by 1800, and his son Philip married Angeline Hinkle. His family owned the farm they were on. The Hinkle family came here early, and they lived in Lower Nazareth. In 1830, John Hinkle moved to where we are, and he bought 178 acres for $900, and it was bisected by the Northeastern Belmont Pike, and there was a family by the name of Nyhart that lived there until 1830, when it was sold to the Hinkle family. John Hinkle's daughter married Philip Metzger, and that's how he got started. John Hinkle lived until 1872, and they divided the farm exactly in half. There were 220 acres there then, and including the barn. We owned half the barn, but not the other side of it. It was built in two separate pieces, and we had the Bartonsville side, and our cousins had the Snydersville side. and we used the other half of the barn from 1927 till 1972 when we bought it back. And um, but anyhow, that's that's how that works. Um, I have lived on this farm. The good Lord lets me live another 6 weeks, 90 years. And our family has been on this farm 196 years. Um, it, that's about all the history of the farm, but I will tell you this to show you I'm not the smartest person in the world. We almost didn't get it preserved because of my fault. My my wife, I started to sell milk when I was a junior in high school in 1951 on my grandfather's side of the farm. And when I went in the army, we sold the cows. I was married in 1960 to a girl from Bowmanstown. And I worked in Strasbourg, and I didn't really, I wanted to move to Strasbourg. Jane wasn't too sure about it. So she said if we could buy the Schiffer house, she would move. Well, the Schiffer house was built by Tom Schiffer, which is one of the contractors from the original courthouse. And he lived in this house. We surely didn't think we could buy it because a neighbor had bought it for his daughter-in-law. She preferred not to live there. She wanted to live in the big house where there were servants or helpers or whatever you call them. He was watering these trees, and I went over and asked him if we could buy the house and move it back on our property. And he said, why move it? I'll sell it here where it says. So we bought the house in 1961 and lived there till, well, I guess about 1965. And I became kind of discouraged. We couldn't buy the other half of the barn and we couldn't buy any farmland. So we bought a farm in Andrews in Corbin County. And after a big farm. And after we bought it, we tried to sell our farm and couldn't sell it. And we had then we had two farms. And one Sunday afternoon, a gentleman came and knocked on our front door, who I had never seen before in my life, and asked to buy that farm. And we sure broke him in the liver. In about 1972, the state next to us started to sell land off. We were able to buy and 11 acres that went with it. And we certainly have been stayed there ever since. We certainly have not regretted a minute. And now we have more land. It's not part of the original farm, but one of my brothers has 10 acres and we have the acres in the original farm and the farm bill. And that's about all I can say, but I want to take this opportunity to thank Christine Meinhardt, Julia Scher, the commissioners, and our children, without whose help we could not have done any of this. I must tell you, I drove school bus for Strasbourg, and we had to be on the road by 7 o'clock in the morning. And we started to milk at 4, and we have 3 sons that helped in the barn. And the first boy would come over at 4, and he would help for an hour till he had to go to school. And then the second son came, and then the third son, and they all helped. And I must say, they've helped us for all these years, and they were very good help. They may not do it like I might have done it, but they always did it to the best of their ability. I'm very thankful for theirs and my wife's. And I want to thank our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for making all this possible, because as you can see, the way it worked out, someone was helping us. I guess that's about I can think of the word, but
Christine, can you briefly tell us how the funding for the purchase of the farm came about?
Sure.
Perhaps Act 13?
Acquisition funding, which is Marcellus legacy funding. And then we also use Act 319 when people develop properties that are in Act 319. The rollback taxes, we use the interest.
Thank you.
Full fund money.
Correct. So that means for the most part, it's not from the taxpayers of Monroe County, correct?
They certainly benefit.
We do. Thank you. And thank you and Julia for shepherding this project through. Moving on, for old business. Approval of the minutes of the March 18th meeting. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Proclamations and certificates. Fair Housing Month of April of 2026. David, if you mind reading that, we have Chris Fay from the Realtors Association here.
Okay.
Is there somebody else?
Just me.
No.
Thank you.
Hi, Chris. Welcome. Proclamation for Fair Housing Awareness Month, whereas the month of April is recognized as Fair Housing Month in celebration of the passage of the Fair Housing Act of 1968. And whereas the Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, and national origin. And whereas this act provides equal housing opportunity for all Americans, regardless of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin, as well as to ensure fair practice in the sale, rental, or financing of property. And whereas the Fair Housing Amendment Act seeks to provide equal housing opportunities to affirmatively further housing choices, to eliminate legal barriers to equal housing, and to emphasize equal housing as a fundamental human right for all. And whereas economic stability, health, and relations, communities are consumed by diversity and integration. And whereas Monroe County is committed to fair housing and promotes services and activities provided by private entities for equal housing opportunities for all residents and prospective residents. And whereas Monroe County fully supports the intent and purpose of the Federal Fair Housing Act, local fair housing laws, and follows policies and practices in order to achieve its goals. Now therefore be it resolved that in the shared goal and responsibility of providing equal housing opportunities for all men and women, Monroe County does hereby join in the national celebration by proclaiming April 2026 as Fair Housing Awareness Month, and encourages all agencies, institutions, and individuals, public and private, in Monroe County to abide by the letter and spirit of the Fair Housing Month. And it's signed and sealed this first day of April, our birthday, by Robert Kress, Chairman John Christie, myself, and Sharon Lambert. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Turn and face Callie.
Callie.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll just say on behalf of the board, we really appreciate the county kind of taking the time to ensure that fair housing remains at the forefront of our conversation. This is something that our members kind of take near and dear to their hearts. Our association does a bunch of education, continuing education to help ensure that our members and community members have access to equal and accessible housing. So thank you guys.
Thank you. Moving on, we have a representative from Safe Monroe. Are you Marissa? Excellent, Marissa. Going to have Commissioner Labrador present the Sexual Assault Awareness Month certificate.
My honor to share the proclamation today, whereas sexual assault is a pervasive issue that affects individuals across all demographics, regardless of age, gender, race, religion, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic status. And whereas sexual assault undermines the safety, dignity, and well-being of individuals, causing lasting physical, emotional, and psychological harm. And whereas between July 2024 to June 2025, over 126 adult, teen, and child survivors of sexual assault have received over 343 hours of counseling and advocacy through Safe Monroe, And yet we know that many sexual violence survivors never come forward. And whereas rising awareness about sexual assault is critical in promoting prevention, supporting survivors, and holding proprietors accountable, as well as working collaboratively to create safer communities and provide accessible resources for survivors. And whereas members of our community are urged to support and assist in any way possible to advance a society where all can live in peace, free from violence, abuse, and exploitation. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Monroe County Board of Commissioners hereby proclaim the month of April 2026 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in Monroe County, and further commends all who work towards eliminating sexual violence in our country. On behalf of the Board of Commissioners, John D. Christie, David C. Parker, and Sharon S. Labrador.
Thank you.
You want to give a little plug for
Right, I
tomorrow?
would.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, we're meeting at the courthouse square at 5 o'clock. We're gonna be doing a rally for victims and survivors of sexual assault. We're marching from the courthouse square to Stroud Hall at ESU. I'd love to see people there. If you can, wear teal. Teal is the color for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Also, we're having our gala at the end of this month, and if anybody's waiting to get tickets until the last minute, it's the last minute. And we're running out of tickets, so if you don't have it, make a note for yourself. But yeah, that's really what we have going on for this month. We're gonna be in and out of the community, so if you see me, come and say hi.
It's called Take Back the Night.
Yes, sorry, yes, it's called Take Back the Night tomorrow. It's our annual rally.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have Chandler Nicholas Smith receiving an Eagle Scout, and Daniel Cunningham, also an Eagle Scout. And the 2026 Pocono Chamber of Commerce Youth Appreciation Awards go to Jasmine Chapman of PA Career Link, Ben Gratis of Pleasant Valley, Rin Medina of Notre Dame, Cesar Santiago of East Stroudsburg, Ashley Zeta, also of East Stroudsburg, Brianna Zemak of Pocono Mountain, Jalen Tinarello of Monroe County Technical Institute, and Zeke Cherney of Pocono Mountain East High School, and Christiana Ward of Stroudsburg High School. Is there a motion to accept these proclamations and certificates, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. New business, personnel. We have the personnel agenda, and we also have to approve and ratify requests to work additional hours in the sheriff's office. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Are there any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Also under new business, we have electronic transfer, financial transactions. We have vouchers payable, gross payroll, and healthcare benefits. Is there a motion, please?
Approve number 2.
Thank you. There's second.
Second, we commented on this. If we want to mention the
Well, I said the healthcare benefits payments, which is C,
Yep.
which would cover that.
Thank you. Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. Travel authorization. Approve and ratify travel request report of Area Agency on Aging, assessment, Children and Youth, Conservation District, Correctional Facility, Emergency Services, Planning, Public Defender, and Vector Control. Is there a motion, please? Are there any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. Area Agency on Aging, appoint Heidi Ferrara to the Aging Advisory Council for a term to expire on 12/31 of 2028. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. Children and Youth Services, approve the following purchase service agreements for the term of 7/1 of 2025 through 6/30 of 2026. Bethany Home Incorporated, doing business as Bethany Children's Home, contract limit $125,000 for independent living. Community Options, a contract limit of $500,000 for group home placement. And Meta Place Youth Home LLC, a contract limit of $200,000 for a group home. And also approve the submittal of the budget amended request for the period of 7/1/2024 through 6/30 of 2025 in the amount of $20,623,693. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Are there any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. Seems like a big day in the commissioner's office. Approve the budget adjustment report dated 4/1 of 2026 for $30,850. If I'm not mistaken, $17,500 of that is in aging. We're moving money to cover various expenses. Also, information technology systems, we have $12,600 to cover additional costs for the Ring Central project. Human service grants, $350 to cover telephone charges. And also in the treasurer's office, $400 for transferring money out of postage for wireless communications. Also, accept a proposal for Schoonover Vanderhoof Architects LLC to provide a scope of renovations at the Chestnut Hill Eldred Polk Ross Magisterial District Office 433-04 at a cost of $10,800. Approve change order number 1 to Nagley Well Drilling with an addition of $8,085 for a pilot bore for casing, and change order number 2, a deduction of $10,900 for backhoe work with new contract totaling $107,021.26. That's for a new well at the correctional facility. Also approve proposal for AES for the installation of 6 door contacts and cables in the amount of $7,138 at the courthouse. Approve proposal of EF Possinger and Son Incorporated in the amount of $8,000 for digging sediment pits, closing pits, removal of filter bag and drill spoils, and restoring the well area for the well drilling out at the correctional facility. Also approve the following allocations to be paid from hotel tax. VIP Studios for Founders Day, $150. Stroud Regional Open Space and Recreation for the America 250 run, $1,776. It's easier to read than say. Juneteenth celebration. Am I doing okay?
No, I was just commenting on the 17th.
Yeah, right.
The Juneteenth celebration. He did that just to cause me to have angst. Fine Arts Discovery Series, doing business as the Sherman Theater, $2,000 ABC Trophy for a new Civil War plaque of $2,150. The Vietnam Veterans of America Pocono Chapter 678, they're going to have a moving wall program this summer at Stroudsburg High School for $4,000. Stroudsburg Borough America 250 events, $10,000. Blue Ridge Hook and Ladder Fire Company for the West End Firemen's Festival, $15,000. Also to approve the following opioid grant from the Opioid Settlement Fund, consistent with the use allowed under the Opioid Settlement Agreement Exhibit E. We have a memorandum of understanding and agreement with Path to Peace for $25,000. A memorandum and understanding and agreement with Northbound in the amount of $66,300 for program setup and treatment. Also a memorandum of understanding and agreement with the Carbon Monroe Pike Drug and Alcohol Commission in the amount of $75,000. Moving on to add the following vendors to the county list of approved vendors. In fiscal grants, we have 325 Prospect EFH LLC, Bandcamp Properties LLC, Savannah Sanchez, Allison Turu, Claire Isabel Reyes, and Rachel Ciente. And in aging, we have Roxanne Gardner. Just so you know that the first couple of these are utility assessments and the rest are rental assessment, with Roxanne Gardner being a shared housing program. And then in planning, Long Street Sporting Goods LLC. Their motion, please.
So moved.
Second, yeah, I had a question.
Please.
Since the planning director's here, is that for field hockey equipment?
That's for field hockey equipment.
Right.
We're going to be helping create a travel team from Monroe County for field hockey, 7th and 8th graders.
So they'll be using the county fields for
We
that.
will be using it.
Wonderful. Yeah, I recognize that store as I had a field hockey player. Have to go there for sticks.
So we have a first and a second. Are there any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Fiscal and grants, ratify submittal of the 2026 Court Interpreter Services Grant Application for 2025, cost in the amount of $158,422.78. Also approve the authorization for the fiscal director, Jennifer Barclay, to electronically sign the state and local cybersecurity grant contract on behalf of Commissioner Christie in the amount to be determined for the period of 12/1/2025 through 11/30 of 2028. Also approve the grants manager, Ashley Carrick, to electronically sign the fiscal year 24 Bryn State Crisis Intervention Program local solicitation contract in the amount of $200,000 for the period of 1/1 of 26 through 9/30 of 2027, and execute the CSBG 2026 Monroe subrecipient contracts listed below. We have Shepherd's Maternity, Family Promise of Monroe County Meals on Wheels, Pleasant Valley Ecumenical Network, Pocono Services for Family and Children, Pocono Area Transitional Housing, the Salvation Army, Resources for Human Development, Stroud Regional Open Space and Rec Commission, and Safe Monroe. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Information Technology and Services. Ratify change order for the implementation services of Ring Central to extend and complete the project in the amount of $12,600. Also ratify confidentiality agreement with Westlaw Publishing Corporation, doing business as Thomson Reuters Paperless Solutions, and the Monroe County for mitigation to paperless solutions. Also ratify the service agreement with Service Express LLC for the period of 4/1 of 2026 through 9/30 of 2026 for IBM AS400 support in the amount of $8,812.50, and approve infrastructure recovery proposal with 111 Systems in the amount of $3,939.39. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Office of Emergency Services, defer action on the bid for the COG plan until 4/15/2026 in the commissioners meeting. Is there a motion for that, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Motion carries. Monroe County Transportation Authority acknowledge the receipt of the financial statements and supplemental information for the period ending of 12/31 of 2025. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions? Bob, if we could please acknowledge, Mr. Schlemus's good job of getting that done. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Planning Commission, approve the agreement of sale for the purchase of an agricultural conservation easement for Robert W. Field in the amount of $213,800. Also execute a contract with Michael D. Bilger to conduct aquatic macroinvertebrate laboratory sub-sampling in the amount of $13,962 for 39 samples, and execute a contract with Microbac to conduct the 2026 water quality testing in the amount of $15,141.75. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Probation, ratify the submittal of the Juvenile Probation Services Grant Award Notice and Invoice in the amount of $96,795 for the period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th of 2026. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Computer Capital, ratify the Computer Capital Purchase Report dated 4/1 of 2026 for $58,990.76. The children and youth are getting new Microsoft Surface tablets and keyboards for $34,937.76. That's on state contract. And our detectives are getting a new forensic machine that is a sole source supplier for $24,053. Also approve the computer capital purchase report dated 4/1 of 2026 totaling $937.80. That is for 2 scanners in the courts. Is there a motion, please? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. Under miscellaneous, I would like to say that we do have Founder's Day today. Both Commissioner Parker and Lavador have been working feverishly to get this up and running. We also have Cinco de Mayo, which is the May 5th, which is community night. So instead of spending Cinco de Mayo in the bars like Buddy and I normally do, we will be spending it at community night. Any public comment,
That's
David?
Northampton.
No. Northampton Community College.
Just to give a little more detail around Founder's Day, there is a presentation that just started about the history of the railroad in Monroe County. But we're going to have many of the keystones that different townships and boroughs have had designed for the 250th. They'll be on display. And since Hamilton Township's so well represented, they will have one there. And there will be at least one barn on their keystone. I'm not sure if it's one that's subdivided, but there's many other historic buildings on the Hamilton one. So they're very nice keystones. I encourage you to go out and look at them. They should be up by 11 o'clock. Out on Courthouse Plaza.
Website.
Yes, it will. And there is free birthday cake as well.
And there's some food trucks that are out there. That might be a great lunch.
Commissioner Lavador, anything else?
No, Safe Monroe, Take Back the Night was my big thing.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, correct.
Is there any public comment? Dr. Tolino?
This may be just a bit confusing. I only received this morning. I received an email on March 23rd, but it went to my junk. I just saw it this morning sitting in the parking lot waiting for a doctor's appointment. I hope this email finds you well. I'm reaching out on behalf of the Pennsylvania House Judiciary Committee. The committee plans to hold an informational meeting regarding the successes of the PCCD Violence Intervention and Prevention Grant. And we're reaching out to see if Jake and I would be interested in participating and testifying before the committee to talk about the successes of the program and what's happening here in Monroe County. So I figured you folks would like to know. I responded immediately. However, it's getting bounced back. So I'm going to call Maya, who's in charge
Okay.
of this committee, and make sure that we can make this happen. It'll be on April 13th, Monday, April 13th. Go down to Harrisburg and tell them what's going on here. So I figured you folks should know that. We appreciate your support as always
That's
with this
great.
program, the gun safety program.
Why don't you talk a little bit about how many sessions you've had?
Sure. We've run 2 sessions so far. We've been able to speak at those sessions with at least 60 people. So we're very excited about that. Each participant, the program we went through was, I would start out about the basics of the grant and the support that we've had from the prosecutor's office and of course the commissioner's office. Then we went into a program about suicide awareness. And Tiffany Mino has done an amazing job knocking that out of the park every time she's spoken. And then we would have the sheriff's deputies would do a program on the gun safety piece, how to safely handle and store a handgun, how to lock a handgun with the cable locks that we've given to every participant. And then Mike Mancuso, our district attorney, has done an incredible job at the end talking about cases that involved weapons that weren't stored properly in the county and also mental illness. And after our first presentation, we said, okay, what should we change? And we all looked at each other and said, nothing. And so we went to the second presentation the same way, and we've had conversations, same types of conversations with any number of other people. So I appreciate you asking.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Pesh?
Teresa Pesh, Belton Township. I'd like to say something about the accountability of the county oversight regarding data collection and documents. In reference to the Monroe County Youth and Needs Assessment, a survey given to the high school students. And I did actually did 3 different right to knows to 3 different agencies. One was a DA's office, one was Monroe County Commissioner's office, and the other is Pennsylvania Commission on Accountability. All I wanted to know is as far as the surveys go to the high school students, I just want to know about the data collection. So I wanted to, it's even in the contract, there's two different contracts. One is the full amount is $295,000. The other one is $31,500. And all I want to know is the data collection and performance measurement, which is actually stated in the contract of $695,000 on page 14 of 47. Data collection and performance measurement, data collection, research and evaluation. So I specifically asked for collection, analysis, interpretation, and deletion of the data that was collected from these surveys. And specifically, it was, I believe, for the two grants, it was the same survey, which was the Community Partnership for Gun Safety surveys that were given to the high school students. All I want is the collection, analysis, interpretation, and deletion of the surveys, and not the DA's office, the commissioner's office, or Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency says they have any records with the third-party vendor, which is the Kerry Group. So nobody has the records of what's being done with that data from the students. But meanwhile, the Kerry Group, they actually put together the surveys. They were supposed to analyze it and they're supposed to store it. But even so, it's important to know, like, when are they deleting it? And the Kerry Group is a business that works, I believe, throughout the country, and they work with professionals in the justice system. So why are these surveys to high school students given to the Kerry Group, for the Kerry Group to analyze? So all I want to know is just the data.
Very good. Thank you. Anybody else? Yep. Jane,
May I approach?
please. We don't have raised dioceses here.
I'm here on behalf, my name is Jane Gagliardo. I'm from East Stroudsboro. It came to my attention that there is a agreement going across the country called 287G. It is a state and local agreement that is being presented by immigration. I know I only have a few minutes, so I'll get right to the point. There's many questions in regard to that, being that the commissioners do run the jail. The most common model on the 287G agreement is the jail enforcement model, and I'll read it to you briefly. Deputized correction officers interrogate people already in local custody to determine their immigration status. They can issue detainers to hold individuals for up to 48 hours so ICE can take them into federal custody. This is after the people who have been detained have been through due process. My question is along with many people that came to me about this, do we know if any of our correction officers have committed to this agreement? And if so, would the commissioners, have to be notified in regard to that? And are prisoners being detained under this model? And like I said, this is after due process. And are you even aware of the 287G?
We are aware of 287G.
Okay.
We have not adopted it at the correctional facility. Okay, and individual correctional officers cannot do programs on their own.
So the feedback that particularly the Latino community is getting is, in fact, they are being detained. So that's why I'm bringing it to your attention on their behalf. And, perhaps there should be some further investigation in it. So I would appreciate if you would
Sure.
take heed in that and do that for the community, as well as these people that are being detained.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? Yes, sir. Tim?
Thank you. Tim Sanders, East Stroudsburg. Along these lines that Jane just spoke about, I've heard from local attorneys that the correctional facility is sending a list of immigrants to ICE, a list of all foreign-born inmates being sent to the federal authorities on a daily or weekly basis. And I wanted to ask about the reasons for that. Is it because of some agreement the county has with ICE, either a formal agreement or legal requirement? Or is it an informal agreement or decision at the discretion of the county facility?
I'll have to look into that and get back to you because I do not know of any. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody online, Callie? Nope. Being such, Board of Elections is at 10:30, Salary Board at 11, and Board of Assessment Revision at 1:30. Is there a motion to adjourn? We are. Thank you. And stay.